Alright, so today I'm making a video on some ancient site that I found on Oahu that seems so old, so significant, packed full of mystery and programs. It seems so significant that it's hardly even spoken or written about in Hawaiian legend and mythology. Very little and obscure things, but I found some stuff and I put it together, and what I found was pretty huge, mind-blowing. So check this out. And I'm doing my best to interpret what I see, and forgive me if I misinterpret some of these Hawaiian legends and things like that. But what I see, it seems like poetry to me. I'm just doing my best to try and make sense of this. So check this out, okay? I'm using this program here, Google Earth. Very cool program. And we're looking in at the Hawaiian Islands here. This here island of Oahu, this is where I grew up. I grew up here for over 30 years, and what we're looking at here is this easternmost point on Oahu. And I am going to dial this here to directly north as much as possible. So what the landmass that we're looking at here today is Koko Crater, Koko Head, and Hanama Bay. And that is what they're commonly known. And when I started hiking up Koko Crater, that's what really gave me the idea, when I started uncovering clues and ideas about what I was looking at here. And I realized this was a giant yoni, and it seemed like what it reminded me of is, let me find this image here. This here is what is commonly known as a Shiva Lingam, and this is exactly what those landscapes remind me of. You have the serpent or the lizard, the giant yoni here, and according to this site, it should face north or east. And look at this shape right here, exactly, very much like this here. And it's facing relatively exact north, slightly northeast, And let me see if I can give you guys a panoramic view of this location here. Is it scrolling? Yeah, check this out. Super cool. Oh. Super cool. It's kind of skipping a little bit, but okay, I'm going back north. Okay, let's see. So let me show you guys some pictures of what we're looking at on the ground when I did this hike, so that way you have an idea of how beautiful this area is. So this here is on top of Koko Crater. I did a sunrise hike, and this is Koko Crater here, the giant yoni. When I was up here, I realized this was a giant yoni, and it represented the divine feminine, and it was a pretty powerful moment. And I sat and I prayed and connected with the energies there, and I asked how I could be of service. And when I went home, this is the article that I found. And to summarize, I'm just going to read this first quote right here. To understand the vagina properly is to realize that it is not only coextensive with the female brain, but is also essentially part of the female soul. And it's a great article. URL and website is on the top here if you guys want to check that out. But what really nailed it was the last quote at the bottom here. And I'm just going to get to that. The way in which any culture treats the vagina, whether with respect or disrespect, caringly or despairingly, is a metaphor for how women in general in that place and time are treated. So that's a pretty significant quote, and I remember hearing that the distortions of the masculine and feminine was one of the main ways of how they've enslaved our race. You know, they. That's probably begs a lot of question of who is they, but we'll go on and continue. Check out some of these pictures here of this sunrise hike that I did. Just super beautiful. I'm just gonna scan by, give you guys a feel of what it's like to be in this location. And that there is Koko Head and Koko Crater, the serpent that was around the yoni, the guardian, the Kundalini energy. There is in Hawaii mo'o. What's called a mo'o is or a lizard, giant mythological lizard with supernatural abilities and powers. Is a huge part of Hawaiian mythology. It's the reptilian, the dragon, the Kundalini energy, and that's right significant. That's huge right here. Really huge. This here is an old train track, and all of this is really, really significant, and I'll get into it more. There's an old train track here during the, I think it was during the war with Japan that they built this. Baseball field right here, really significant. Really significant, and I'll get into it. This right here is a shooting range. This is also really significant. See right here, some antennas, some weird, odd antennas. That also is really significant of placement and purpose beyond just what the eyes can, what normal eyes can see. You know. Here's the track going down. It's just really one long vertical hike. Horse. All of this is again really significant, and I'll get into it. There's a little horse, what you call a track or training area here, riding area, and this is significant as well. And I'll get into it real quick when we get back to it. But I wanted to give you guys a real live photo so you can feel what it's like to be there and what it's like, what the energies is like there. So from here, I went. The sunrise hike was I went straight up the train tracks, and this here is when I went up the inside of the crater to see what it was like there, and that was really something else. So beautiful, so beautiful. I'm just gonna move along here, showing you guys some pictures of what it's like, what it is up here. This shape right here is really significant, and I'll get into it. This is where the horses were, and this is where the horses were as well. This right here, that different colored tree right here, that is one of those what you call cell phone antennas, you know, broadcasting antenna stations, you know, strategically placed again for a purpose. I'll get into it more. So beautiful up here. There is a natural rock formation here that is called Pele's Chair, right over here. This is Sandy Beach, world famous for its shore breaks. Super beautiful area, lots of legend and mythology. You can look over to, this is also significant because I'll talk about this right here. This is, you can look over into Lanai, and I believe it's Lanai Molokai. Lanai, Maui Molokai. Better get my islands right. Cockroach swimming hole, that's what we call it. Okay, let's see. This is on the rim. Wow, check that picture out. It's crazy, so beautiful. Okay, trying not to drag this out and trying to get to the juicy, meaty part as much as quick as possible, but I wanted to give you guys a feel what it's like up here. Super beautiful. Okay. So next part that we are okay. Need to take a pause and decide where we go from here. Okay, so yeah, that right there is a giant yoni. I feel like that's a female. That represents the divine feminine here. Whatever happens here is so significant. And if we talk, so when I did some research, I looked into what the Hawaiian legends talked about. What the Hawaiian legends say about that area, Koko Head, traditions of Pele and Kapo. So the story is that Kamapua'a, Kamapua'a, which is the pig-headed god, um, is associated with this story. Let's see here, Kamapua'a and Pele. Kamapua'a was he was the son of a Hawaiian chief or ali'i, and he was sort of disowned by his father because the father thought he was the son of someone else, and so sort of disowned him, and it hurt him really bad. He was legends say he was a very handsome young man, almost having supernatural powers like a demigod, and with a lot of abilities, being able to shapeshift and transform himself. They say he could transform himself into a kukui tree and such. And so the story is that so what happened was, he was hurt by his father. He was a hurt male, and he started plundering and robbing and stealing and just being a bandit. And after a while, he was so hurt by his father that he became the pig-headed god. He killed a pig and wore the pig's hide over his head, and eventually he just became um, shapeshift into a pig, and he's known as the pig-headed god. And there are places on Oahu that is his domain, such as Pali Lookout, that you cannot drive over the Pali with pig to this day because accounts is that your car will die out and stall at the Pali Lookout. So the story here with Pele and Kamapua'a. So Kamapua'a is the hurt male, the pig-headed god, which is so significant. And Pele, story was that legend was that Kamapua'a was trying to court Pele, and Pele refused him, and he kept pushing up on Pele. Some accounts say that he was trying to rape Pele, or that they were actually lovers and actually had a kid, which is interesting because of what we're going to get into. Okay, let me see. Let me just gather my thoughts here. Okay, so Kamapua'a was trying to rape Pele according to the account, and what had happened was that Pele's sister, Kapo, one of her abilities was that she had a flying yoni, or a flying vagina, and she threw it across Kamapua'a's face, and Kamapua'a went after the flying yoni, which landed over in Koko Head. To this day, here. So this is supposedly Kapo's yoni that lured Kamapua'a away, that made an imprint here. How did that happen? I have some of my guess, but I'm just gonna go on here. So that is the Hawaiian story of this giant yoni here. So let's look at some of the things that I found out. See this train track here of the earlier picture I showed you? This is the train track here that was built. And this track right here is built on top. I'll give you another 360 view. See that right there? This train track right there that people hike up to get a nice workout now. It's no longer a train runs a train, but people do this intense hike. And I did a sunrise hike, and it took about, like, you park right down here, and hike took about I forgot, 20 to 40 minutes depending on what your condition is at. But what is interesting that this train track is at the very peak of this yoni here, almost as if to signify conquering this peak, conquering this yoni and dominating this yoni. Okay? What's interesting next is that, remember this horse track right here I showed you earlier where there were horse training right here? So look at the shape that this horse track that is shaped in. It's almost like a head, and when I look down here at this, I was up on this ridge and I look down here, you see this sidewalk here, and it looks like a wiggly tail. And I don't think they're referring to a dog. And see this wiggly tail right here? Its wiggly tail goes up here and it becomes a head right here, almost as if entering into the yoni, seeding life. Significant point about that was right here. Remember this tree that I talked about? That odd tree that is an antenna, a cell phone tower, a cell tower, right next to the wiggly tail of the sperm. Look at this giant sperm right here with the wiggly tail, with an artificial, with a cell phone tower, which is almost as if programming, mind control. Whose baby is this? Is this the hurt male's baby? Fostering and continuing the hurt and the pain. Really interesting symbolisms here. Okay, let's see, was there anything else that I might have missed? There's so much here. When I started looking, there was just so much here. Okay, next part here. Next part here. Okay, the next part here is I want to just get to this point real quick. So if this is a body part, this is the yoni right here, right? If this was a body part, that was the yoni. This would be the anus, and what's interesting is that the in the anus, I know the first connotation is dirty and nasty and foul, but this here is what this represents is interesting because it's nothing dirty at all. There's actually interesting is that there's a swimming hole here that was actually called toilet bowls. So what I found out this represents is the Kundalini gland. The Kundalini gland, and they said the Kundalini from one of the websites that I was researching and looking at here. This website here, URL website is on the top here if you guys want to check this out. It says the Kundalini gland is actually located in the anus, between the in the cavity between the anus and the sacrum or something like that. But this represents the Kundalini gland. The lizard, the mo'o, is represented as a snake. But okay, I just want to. So if this is the yoni this is the yoni right here. That is the anus and represents the Kundalini gland, and I'll show you more about that later. But I want to get into this real quick because there's so much detail about the Kundalini gland here, the Koko head and the Hanama Bay here. So much. Here we have what would be the perineum. And what is interesting about this is what they have here is a firing range, a gun range, and significant thing about the perineum. Okay, let's see. Let's pause real quick. Okay, significant thing about the perineum is that in acupuncture, it is significant because the perineum is also known as conception vessel 1. It's called the Huyin, and if you're familiar with Taoist cultivation or Taoist or yogic cultivation, the perineum is a very significant point. It is your root chakra, and in acupuncture it is the meeting of conception vessel, governing vessel, and the Chong meridian, Chong Mai, the central channel. which is the most pranic channel in the body. This is a really, really powerful and significant point right here. Regulates lower yin orifices, genitals, urethra, anus. Let me see. I want to point something out as well. Maybe in another meeting of yin, meeting of three. So these CV, conception vessel, governing vessel, and Chiang Mai are the 8 extraordinary channels, or the 8 psychic channels that support the 12 meridian system. They feed and support and balance the 12 meridian system. That conception vessel is so important. Let's see. I want to point something out real quick. Meeting of yin, reunion of yin. Meeting of yin point. If you guys are interested, I just want to make this short and sweet, but check this out. Resurrects the spirit here. It says resurrects the spirit. Super interesting. But if you guys are interested, you guys can read up about what the conception vessel is. Just wanted to point that out. Again, in the earlier article that I was pointing out, the way in which any culture treats the vagina, whether with respect or disrespect, caringly or despairingly, is a metaphor for how women in general in that place and time are treated. So you have a firing range right next to this giant yoni. It's like that's like overstimulation and trauma. And from what I've seen with mind control, the first thing that you need to do with mind control is almost break and fraction the mind so that you can imprint programs. And this is just traumatic here. If you ever are hiking up around this area and you can hear these gunshots firing off throughout the whole entire day, it's very traumatic. And in acupuncture, if you were to stimulate the perineum in such a manner, it would be devastating for the person's energetic system. What's happening here is so significant. It seems like a huge program for the collective. The horses here is significant as well, because the horse is again overstimulating this this area of the female body. It's just crazy. The horse is a massive animal. It's not exactly the most soft and graceful and cuddly animal. It's massive, it's big, its hooves are constantly stomping on this area, stimulating it. Like our culture, overstimulated on this female genital, you know? Massive programming. And again, I'm sure many of you guys would have a better interpretation of what this does, but I'm just trying to point out some of these things that I see here. Baseball bat, a very aggressive, not aggressive, but there's a lot of hitting, striking, and a lot of hitting and striking activity. Okay, now looking at this area is so crazy. Wow, when I really looked into this, what's going on over here? Wow. Okay, let's see. I'm going to show you some pictures of what it's like to actually be here, and so this is what it looks like, a giant mo'o. This is the panoramic view here. This here I feel like is related to the Ouroborus. Let me see if I have that here. The Ouroborus. Where is it? Oh no. Ouroborus. Let me just pause this video right here, and so it resembles the Ouroborus, or the snake or the dragon eating its tail. Could be a lizard. I believe the oldest accounts of the Ouroborus comes from Egypt, and Egypt. And where did Egypt get it from? Egypt. There are cultures older than Egypt, and Sumeria, the Anunnakis and stuff like that. And I'm gonna get into that. That's a really interesting point. But I'm showing you some pictures of what it's like to be here, to feel what the energy is like here. Super beautiful area. Here, we did this hike, and I did this hike just recently when I moved back to Hawaii 2 years ago. I believe this is about a year ago here. Looking across here again, you can see the train track going up the Koko Crater. People dominate and people what you call dominate and conquer this hill right here by climbing up to the top. You know, that's the poetry that I get from reading, seeing this right here. So this area, super beautiful. What's interesting, when we were up there, this is what we found piled in a pile with these markings. These pretty cool, huh? I don't know what that means, but points right to the tail. That's where the toilet bowl swimming hole is at, I believe. It's closed off now. So this is a very tip of the mo'o, and really interesting. It almost resembles like a pineal gland with all those holes, you know. So I just want to show you guys these and see what it looks like. Just crazy looking. I sat inside and trying to hide from the sun, and my friend took a picture of me. So that there's this crazy antenna. Look, you can still see Koko Crater here. This is this crazy antenna complex on the back of this mo'o. I believe this mountain is hollow, and I believe they're using it for crazy stuff. Broadcasting signals and mind control stuff. But okay, just moving along here, give you guys some idea of what this looks like. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the significance of Koko Head and Koko Crater. The legend about some of the story about how the mo'o was formed was kind of hokey, and I didn't buy it. But check this out. But check this out. Okay, Hanama Bay, Hanama, and traditions of Kane and Kanaloa. Kane and Kanaloa are two of the main four gods in Hawaiian culture and mythology. Kane is also means male. It's as if made in the image of the creator, you know. And it's the legend of the two brothers. You know, they were like brothers, always traveling. They were always together, and which is interesting because there are a lot of legends and stories in religion and mythology about two brothers. Some of the oldest ones go back to Enki and Enlil. Was this Enki and Enlil? I'm not sure, but check this out. Kane and Kanaloa came from the land of Kauai on a pointed cloud and arrived at Hanama, Oahu. Kane was a kindly god, courteous in all his ways. Okay, just right there. Let's see. Kauai is supposedly a mythical land of the gods or something, you know. So that's really interesting right there. Arrive on a pointed cloud at Hanama Bay, which is crazy because a pointed cloud. I mean, that sounds like a technology to me, you know. Sounds like a ship. Arrived at Hanama Bay. If you've seen pictures of Hanama Bay looking like an Ouroborus, it looks like a Stargate. It looks like a portal of sorts, you know. And okay, let's see. Let's see here. What is next? Okay. So with Koko Head, what happened was. Okay, so Hanama Bay again. Okay, significance of Hanama Bay. What had happened was Hanama Bay was Due to the lack of fresh water in the vicinity, the area was not inhabited, although archaeologists have found fishing tools and other indications of human presence here. The bay was used as a recreational area by the Hawaiian nobility, including King Kamehameha and Queen Kaahumanu, who fished, entertained visitors, and sponsored games there. It was also used as a layover and as a navigational lookout point, since the waters between Oahu and Molokai are at times difficult. The bay was purchased from the Bishop Estate by the city and county of Honolulu. Okay, check this out. So this area was used by the nobility as a recreational area, and I believe it was so significant that there's not much written about it. But check this out. Let me show you what happened here after the city and county purchased that area. Where is it? Okay, what happened? Oh, here it is. Okay. What had happened was they had why can't I find this? Pause. Okay, so let's first look at Koko Head and Koko Crater. The name is a relatively new name, and I've told you what it was used to be called. It was called Kohe Flying Yoni, and Koko Head was used to called Mo'o Kua Kane Apua. Mo'o Kane Mo'o Kua Kane Apua. I hope I'm getting this correct. Something about the back of the mo'o, the male back of the mo'o, or something. And I tried to do some research, but I couldn't find much information. So maybe somebody could enlighten me about this point. But what's interesting is that the name Koko Head, Koko, means blood, and this is what's interesting is that blood means, to Hawaiians, the blood didn't just mean red fluid. Blood means their connection to their ancestor, their genealogy, their amakuas, their history, their lineage, which is very important. And Hawaiians are very big on genealogy and lineage, and so Koko Head and Koko Crater was really interesting. Why they changed the name? Maybe it was to hide the significance of what it really was. And but check this out. Okay, what had happened was they had okay, so here's another picture of that Hanama Bay and the mo'o eating its own tail. What is interesting here is that I thought there was more information, but I might have been wrong. Maybe I just misplaced it because there's so much to cover. And now I just missed it again. Okay, so what happened was, here's this the bay after it reopened. Bay Area reopened after the war and became even more visitor friendly after blasting in the reef for a transoceanic cable that provided room for swimming. What is it? So what they did was they freaking blew up this Kundalini area, this gland of the Kundalini area, and they laid a cable, a transoceanic cable. And okay, now we look at that. What that means here. Hawaii number 1 was the first submarine telephone cable laid between Hawaii and the mainland USA. HA1 was laid in 1957 and consisted of 2 cables, one transmitting in each direction, each carrying 36 channels. Okay, what's interesting here with 36 channels traveling each way is that I started Taoism maybe since 2003, and um, Taoist yogic practices, and I was told that there are a total of 72 total attainments or abilities that one can attain according to some of the old scriptures, and these 72 abilities came from heaven and earth. 36 came from heaven, and 36 abilities came from earth. So here you have this in the Kundalini gland. Follow me for a moment. Laying cables each way to the mainland, 36 channels each way. To the head, from the crown to the root chakra, 36 channels. Coincidence? I don't know, maybe, but that's crazy. Okay, now check this out. Here we go. The first message through the cables was sent on August 3, 1957. I just added this up, and let's see what I found out. August 3, 19, 9, 5, 7 equals 33. Significance of 33? That is the number of spinal column. Spinal column? Is that correct? Number of vertebrae that we have in our spinal columns. If you count it correctly, that is. There are 7 cervical, 12 thoracic. 7 plus 12 is 19. Plus 5 lumbar, 24. Plus 5 sacrum, 24 plus 5 equals 29, and plus 4 in the coccyx. So 29 plus 4 equals 33. And there's also 33 levels in the Freemasonry. Interesting. So again, representing the spine, the 36, 72 abilities, transferring this between the U.S. mainland and Hawaii. Koko, the blood, the lineage, the ancestral power. What's going on here is I'm not really quite too sure, but it's pretty huge and significant. One more thing I wanted to show. Okay, check this out. Lanai Lookout. So this whole area looks over at Lanai. Remember I showed you guys that it looks over to Lanai and Molokai. And so what it says here is that, okay, here we go. The cremated ashes of President Barack Obama's mother and maternal grandmother were scattered here. So now you have a president or a CEO of the corporation of the United States of America scattering his ancestral remains here. Coincidence? Maybe. I don't know. But that's just so crazy. Okay. Okay, so that is about all I have on what I've discovered, and I'm just gonna try and wrap it up right now. I still haven't looked into where this cable lands at. It says it lands at a point at Point Arena, California, and I'm sure there'll probably be some interesting things there. If somebody would like to check that out, I don't know. Let me know what's up. But I just want to close with this here again, just to summarize. To understand the vagina properly is to realize that it is not only coextensive with the female brain, but it is also an essential part of the female soul. And I'm sure you guys all are familiar with the significance of the female and the female soul, and how that's related to a species and a race, how it gives life to life, gives life. And how the way that we treat the that female body part with respect or not really is a metaphor for how women in general in that place and time are being treated What is going on over here? Like, I don't know, this stuff is crazy. Is this even, hang on here. Let me just see. Oh, nice. I don't know how I did that. Let's see. Okay. Is this area here even a freaking real landmass? Look at this. This is crazy. Look at that. Is that even a real landmass? Is that some kind of odd technology? Or what is that? You know, so here we have a yoni that is associated with the pig-headed god, the hurt male that was hurt and what you call outcast by his father, raping the female, impregnating her. You have all this symbolism here. Um, what does it mean? I don't know. Would love to hear from you guys. All right. Wow, dude. I just took a break to gather my thoughts, and I was looking at the street name here, which is so crazy because I started discovering all of this right before I decided to move to Kauai, and in Kauai I connected with this divine feminine. Well, I just felt this divine feminine entity really, really strongly, and that's when I came back to Oahu, and that's when I decided to move to Kauai. Am I even making sense right now? When I connected with that divine feminine on Kauai, that's when I came back to Oahu. That's when I realized I needed to move there because of what I experienced. I felt like there was a bigger role to play, and that's when I discovered about all of this stuff that blew my mind. But as I was doing this video, I took a pause, and as I took a pause, I was reading the street over here, and what really caught my attention was that these streets are sacred places on Kauai. If you guys are on Kauai, you guys would know here. Check this out. Anahola. There's a mountain in Anahola, Kalalea, which they say is the point of where all souls enter the earth. I believe that came from the Dalai Lama. Kalalau Street, Polihale. What the heck is going on? Whoa. Holy shit. I just saw these street names and it just kind of blew my mind. Again, a lot of this stuff is poetry, is sacred geometry, is feng shui, is geomancy. This is the knowledge of the builders. And when you name a place something, it's quantum entanglement. You are creating a link between names and places. It's symbolisms and stuff. Check this out. Moloa'a. Wow. What the heck? Wow, okay. So these are all new developments for me, and Poipu Drive, this is like linking it to almost exactly to Makaweli. That would be interesting to check out Makaweli. So this is almost linking this area to Kauai, in fact. Shit. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna end this video here. Any thoughts, suggestion, real quick right here. This right here is where that satellite antenna I showed you with that round looking thing. It looked like something out of a sci-fi James Bond movie. Luma High. Shit. Wow, look, this is all points of Kauai. So crazy. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, okay, I'm gonna end this video. No, Willy Willy. Again, more Kauai. Okay, I'm gonna end this video. Let me know what you guys think. Alright, so I had to just take a break and step back a little bit because wow. The more I look at this, the more it unravels, and all of this right here is linking it to Kauai, where I just moved to, where I felt activated. That kind of made me realize all of this stuff. All of these street names here. Kalala Waialeale. Waialeale is the tallest, the most wettest spot on the planet. They say, it's the sacred spot of water. Polihale, Nawiliwili, Lawai, Makaweli, Lumahai, Poipu, Moloa'a. It's just crazy. Anahola, Kiko'o. Okay, so I'm just gonna summarize this real quick here. Real quick. Okay, so from what I see, you got this yoni here, and what's happening is you got the story of the hurt male god with the insemination with his seed right there going in, being constantly stimulated with the horses. You got this artificial feeding of information here with that cell tower. It's right there, that cell tower next to that house. I can show you the picture. Let's see. Where is it? Yeah, see that color tree right there? Yeah, that's the one right there. From those trees, it's different. That's the one. So let's see. So it's seeding the offspring and traumatizing this area, traumatizing this most sacred area, and putting that out into the matrix. My mind's so full right now. That the perineum right here, affecting both of these organs, which is the a very sexual organ, but also most sacred organ. This is the birth canal, and the kundalini gland being funneled, Koko, the blood, the ancestry, the aka cord, umbilical cord connecting one to the amakua, or the ancestors. And you got this kundalini gland being funneled and channeled into the mainland. So this is just what I see. This is what I read in poetry. That's how I see it, and it'd be interesting to get other people's perspective, what you guys may see, and apologize if I misrepresent anything or if I offend anyone. I don't mean to offend. I'm just offering this here as what I see, as hopefully being able to see what we're up against, what will be able to like shatter some of the programs that have been imprinted upon our culture, our race, and us as a people. And hopefully we'll be able to stop seeing divisions and start uniting and being and acting as one. Because ultimately, we are all one on this island, on this planet, on this earth, and even in the universe,